Hi, it's been a while, but I'm back and I made a game. I don't actually know what I'm pointing at. It's not like I have a title or game icon or anything. It's basically just another Among Us copycat, but without any of that gosh darn Western democracy. It's a social deduction game where basically one player will be playing the king and the rest of the players will either be peasants or thieves. The peasants will need to do tasks and collect money to pay tributes to the king. Meanwhile, the thieves are going to do tasks and collect money for themselves, and they can also sabotage tasks for the other players. Or they can even try to steal money directly from the king. And then the king has to determine who the thieves are based on what he's told by the players who visit him or don't visit him. Like a person can come to the king and give him tribute, and while he's there, he can say, so and so sabotaged me, he's a thief. Or if a player has not given any tributes to the king, then that might also look suspicious. Or if someone dares to steal directly from your treasury, then one of the people who just visited you must have been a thief. In that case, you will immediately unlock the option to hire an assassin to take him out. But you have to use this ability carefully. If you give this dagger to a thief, they will go out and kill one of the players working for you. So you have to make sure you are giving the dagger to someone you trust. And eventually whoever collects enough money to reach the money goal will win. And that's the gameplay loop. It should be a short game, like 5 minutes per round. And then you can restart and someone else will be the king. Considering that this is my first game, I'm quite proud of what I was able to do. It may be rough and unpolished, but it was all made in just 1 month. Like, when I think about it, I went from having never made a game to now I have made a game with features like working multiplayer, player lobby system and private lobbies, controller support, which was pretty easy because Godot just allows you to have easy controller support. A task queue system, where if one player is already doing a task, the other players will have to wait in queue. A sabotage system, where a player can sabotage the tasks for another player. Customizable game parameters like the number of thieves or the score needed to win. Proximity voice chat. Yes, the game has working voice chat system. The king even has a speaker button that allows him to address everyone on the entire map. Or local text chat in case you can't use voice chat. And the chat will appear on top of your character, so only people close to you will be able to read it and see what you're saying, kinda to emulate proximity chat. Settings menu, you can adjust the screen size or which mic you're using or the audio levels of the players. And finally, the art. Look, I know it's not that impressive, but I went from never having made any art to I've made stuff like this, or I've made stuff like that. And look, I know I've already did some thumbnails and some animations, but those are just coloring and animating stuff that already exists from manga panels. I've never drawn anything from scratch, and that's like completely and that's much harder, creating something new and original. And to be honest, the hardest part was the art, and I kept pushing it back until the very end because I was kind of afraid to work on it. Like, if we go back just a week, the game looked like this. There's absolutely no assets for pretty much anything except the main character and some of the mini games. I mean, there is still a lot of art that I need to add to the game, and the game is definitely not completely finished yet. Far from it, but at least it is playable at this stage. And if you want to play it, you can find the link in the description to download the game for free from itch.io. If you have friends, that is, because it needs at least 3 players. Or realistically, you need at least 5 players for this kind of game to be actually fun. And so I have made a Discord server that you can join and maybe try to find some players to play with. But to be honest, it's probably gonna be a ghost town. It's probably a bad idea to make a multiplayer game that requires 5 people as my first game. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people will enjoy it and the community will form around it. Lastly, I wanna say I really should be streaming. Check me out on Twitch. If I'm not currently streaming, then make sure to write a comment telling me, why aren't you streaming?